Hey everyone, I'm Danielle Byington, and in this video, we're talking about one of the 18th century authors. This is Samuel Pepys, and we are talking about his text that's usually just referred to as diary. Sometimes it is called the whole set of Samuel Pepys's diary. Either or is acceptable when you're writing about it in my class if you're one of my students. So, just a little bit of biographical background on him and the text. So, he lives to 70, and I want to say something about this bullet point here at the top. It is ironic. He was buried in the churchyard of a church that escaped the Great Fire. And you see, the Great Fire is the thing that's a really big deal about his diary. It's one of the main reasons we read it. It's not the only reason. We'll talk about that on the next slide when I'm actually talking about the background of his text. Um, he's a writer who is a good example of social mobility in during his life. Um, in part due to his education, because he was born in the middle class. His father was a tailor, but he got to go to a prestigious school, Cambridge, on scholarship, and that helped him move up. And so he's working for, in not just the military, but also in the court of royalty. So Charles II, especially. Um, he was married, but we also know from his diary, as he wrote in it for a time span of about a decade, that he had numerous affairs. There's very little that you're turning the pages through, and he's not having an affair with another woman. But that's also notable because many of them were other famous women that we know about from history. Many of them were actresses. Some more background about the text. So I just mentioned that he wrote in this for about a decade. So for 10 years, he's writing in it. And it's the length of it is about 1 million words. So if you live in a country where you predominantly use something like MLA or maybe Harvard style, um, so if it's double spaced, if you write an essay that's about 3,000 words, that's going to be a 10-page paper-ish, like give or take, depending on if you have diagrams or whatever. Um, so a million words, if you look it up, it comes out to about a 4,000 page paper in something like MLA formatting, something that's double spaced. Um, we also think that that social mobility I just mentioned, that influenced the way he observes life. Like he's been, I mean, when we say middle class now, we think we have a different idea of what middle class is now than what they would have thought of as middle class. So that is still more of like a laboring class. I mean, now we think of more of like a lower middle class and an upper middle class. The lower middle class is still going to be maybe more blue collar. That's more like relevant to the working class that you have here in Samuel Pepys's case. So because he's been through these different settings in life, we think that kind of gives his writing, his observations rather, more of an unbiased approach. I mean, he just writes about things in a very, as a matter of fact, tone. Um, and that's really one of the things that makes his documentation of the event of the Great Fire of London in 1666 so interesting because he's not writing about it saying like how stupid these people were for trying to gather their belongings or how brave these people were for something they did. He is just writing about it in a very journalistic kind of way. This happened, and then this happened, and then I saw this happen. So this is the general background that you need to know to understand where he comes from when he's writing this memoir-ish material, his diary. Thank you for watching.